Labour MP for Slough is Tan Dessy. Good morning, Tan.
Good morning, Andrew.
So you guys have said for month after month after month after month, all you want is a general election. This could be a chance to vote for one.
Let's see. We didn't get much further in terms of the Prime Minister's address yesterday. Well, by the way, Andrew, I was a bit of an anti-climax. When I heard news that the Prime Minister was going to be addressing the nation at 6 o'clock using the lectern, I was expecting either, there's been some sort of breakthrough with the negotiations with the EU, or perhaps he's found some sort of alternative arrangement which has resolved issues. Or perhaps he was going to be calling a general election, or perhaps even doing the right thing and saying to the nation, look, I haven't got to where I need to get to, and I'm doing the honourable thing and resigning. It was none of the above, and that could literally have been put out on a memo, or as is normal government practice, to get a government source to advise the nation that that I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm going to be using the lectern again.
All right, but let's get to, substantive stuff being decided today. I'm presuming that in Parliament today you'll be backing the attempt to legislate to prevent a no deal Brexit at the end of next month.
Definitely, Andrew. I think that one thing in terms of being serious is that a no-deal Brexit would be catastrophic for our economy, for jobs, and especially it will affect those more vulnerable within our community even more than the rest of us. Now, that is not something that I have been saying on my own for years now. Businesses have been saying exactly the same thing. Unions have been saying exactly the same thing, whether it's the Manufacturers Association, whether it's the Food and Drinks Association, you name it. Anyone of any clout, either as an economist or those involved in business, have been telling us that this would lead to a huge detrimental impact on our nation. So we need to stop that no-deal Brexit happening, and that's why I'll be supporting that cross-party legislation.
Now, if you get the opportunity, possibly even later on today or tomorrow or this week, to vote in Parliament to trigger a general election, you can't possibly say, oh no, we don't want an election now, can you?
Andrew, it will depend on the timing of the election, because if...
Well, we know the timing, October the 14th.
No, we haven't had that confirmed. Even that is through leaked potential sources, and there was a time when people were saying it's going to be at the end of October or the 3rd of November. Now the recent flavour of the month in terms of a date is October the 14th. It would all be dependent on what the timing of the election is, because if, as many of us fear, that is some sort of ruse to have a de facto no deal happening while everybody's out there campaigning, then I certainly would not be in favour of such a move.
Perhaps it's just something far more upfront than that. Perhaps it's the Prime Minister saying, look, I can't get the key point of government policy through the House of Commons, and what we do in this country in those circumstances is have an election. Why would you stand in the way of that?
Andrew, I think being straight up with the people is one thing that this Prime Minister has not been doing. At various points, he has not been straight up. And even now, we see the dictatorial tendencies within Alexander Boris Johnson, is that he is so far removed from either one, he's proroguing Parliament, so he's trying to shut down the sovereign Parliament, the voices of the people. Secondly, he's now threatening Tories trying to stop a no-deal Brexit by saying that he's going to be deselecting them. Dictatorial tendencies, unfortunately, will mean that he will try to force through a no-deal Brexit if he can.
Okay, this is the Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab talking in the last hour.
Well, if we ended up, and as I said, we don't want an election. We want to get delivering on the government's positive agenda and delivering Brexit. But if we ended up down that track, it would be the mother of all U-turns by Jeremy Corbyn, because he's been saying for months, if not years, election.
Dominic Raab is right there, isn't he?
No, he's not, because we are up for an election, and we know that when the British people are faced with the prospect of more chaos, more anarchy, as has been the case for the last 3 years, completely botched Brexit negotiations, been left on the sidelines, and faced with a sensible approach on these key point for, in terms of our nation, which is Brexit negotiations. Trust Labour, but it is all dependent on the timing of the election. We cannot have a no deal Brexit forced through if the timing of these, to correspond with the 31st of
Okay.
October.
Tan, thank you. Tan Desi is the Labour MP for Slough.